Hi everyone, Melissa here. In today's video, I want to talk about what to do when you are seeing opposite circumstances showing up regarding your manifestations. So you're trying to manifest something, you're consciously trying to manifest something, and then all of a sudden opposite circumstances show up. What do you do? So if this is something you've encountered, which I'm guessing probably most of you have, I think this video will really help you. Really quick announcement, I'm having a sale on coaching. Check it out in the link in the description of this video. You can get a really good deal on some coaching sessions. Okay, what do you do when opposite circumstances show up? Okay, so first I want to talk about meaning that we're giving things. So because you are in control of your reality, because you determine your experience based on your assumptions about things, whatever you decide something means, that's right. You're always right. So when circumstances show up, at face value, they're just a thing. They don't mean anything until you look at it, put it into context that makes sense to you, and give it a meaning. So that's why the same thing could happen to somebody else, and they will see it from a completely different perspective because in their reality, they're giving their stuff meaning to them. So try to always look at circumstances objectively. And I know that can be hard when we're caught up in our physical reality and things feel very real. And, you know, we have emotions. We're human. That's normal. So, but practice it. Practice trying to be neutral or indifferent when things show up, because that allows you time to process how you're going to react to it. That allows you time to process what meaning you're going to give it. So when something's showing up and it seems opposite of what you want, it's something you don't like, it's something you don't prefer, this is an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity for you to practice feeling neutral and feeling indifferent and deciding what you're going to experience next with it. Deciding what you're going to accept as true about it next. So sometimes, I mean, you can even think of it like a little test. Basically, a circumstance is showing up and it's in your face and it's like, what are you going to believe is true right now? Are you going to believe in your old unwanted storyline, which is something you don't prefer? Or are you going to take this opportunity to choose something better and different that you want? So let me put this into some examples. So let's say you're trying to manifest a job, okay? And you have this company that you really want to work with, and you've gone through a couple of interviews, and you're feeling really good about it, but you're still not sure. You haven't heard from the company that the job is yours yet. Now, in your mind, you've been trying to manifest this job. So you've been working on your mental diet and affirming the job is mine. I'm the best candidate and they know it. The job is mine. I got it. Okay. But then all of a sudden you get an email from the company that says, we decided to go with someone else. We did not choose you. Okay. So at face value, that looks exactly opposite to what you want to happen. That looks like completely contrary. It looks like, oh my gosh, everything I've been doing isn't working because now I'm seeing evidence that I'm deciding means I exactly did not get what I want. In fact, I got the opposite of what I want. Okay, so right there is your moment to stop and evaluate. What am I seeing right now? What am I deciding this means for me? Just because this email seems to say rejection doesn't mean I have to accept that. I don't have to take no as my answer. In my mind is where I decide what is true about it. In my mind is where I say, I'm not taking no for an answer. That's not true for me now. This is what's true instead. And then you would affirm for your new story, which is still, I'm the best candidate. I got the job. And then if you need to, in those specific instances, you can create a storyline about that circumstance if it helps you. So there's two ways to approach this. You could just decide it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter because what you want is true and you're staying firm in what you want, no matter what you see or don't see. Or if it helps you in that moment, you can make a story about the circumstance that still aligns with your desire. So that example would be, they made a mistake. They didn't mean to email me. They emailed the wrong candidate. Or they made a mistake. They really do want me. In fact, there's other positions that they want me for as well. I'm going to hear back from them that I'm still working there. That's still my company. That's still my job. That's still my role. Nothing has changed. I don't care what this woman says. She was wrong. I got that job. That is mine. Okay. So the trick is always spinning circumstances in your favor. Make everything mean something that works in your favor. Even if you can't see it in that moment, know that everything always works out for you. Your thoughts create, and you are truly the one in control here. No matter what somebody says or does, you decide what happens next based on what you will accept as true, based on your assumptions, based on what you are believing as true about the circumstance and about the people involved and about yourself. Okay. So let's do another example. So let's say you're trying to manifest back an SP. Okay. And you have been really working hard and thinking, you know, they love only me. They only want to be with me. They choose me. I'm their person. We talk all the time. You know, all the affirmations that align with you are with your SP. But then you get blocked by them, or you see a picture on social media and they're hugging another person. Okay. What are you going to make those circumstances mean? Are you going to make being blocked mean that you are still rejected and you're not getting what you want? Are you going to make the picture mean that your SP is in love with someone else and not you and doesn't choose you? Because that's just going along with your old unwanted story. So there's your test. There's your moment to test yourself. What am I going to believe is true about this scenario? Does it look crappy at face value? Sure does. Do I want it to stay that way? Do I want to experience that? Sure don't. So I'm going to decide something new is true instead. So maybe that would be, you know, maybe they just blocked me by accident. Maybe they're getting off social media altogether. Maybe somebody else hacked their account. Maybe they were upset about something and blocked me in the heat of the moment and they feel really bad about it and they're going to unblock me right now because they realize they have no reason to be upset with me. Maybe they blocked me because they were feeling so sad that we haven't talked in a while, but they know that we are good and we can always talk to each other and everything's okay. So I'm going to get unblocked. You know, decide something new is true about it and make it work in your favor. You know, it's always up to you. It's up to you what you are going to accept as true. Look at that picture and decide, oh, that's just a friend. That's just a neighbor. That was someone, maybe they just went on one date, but there's no chemistry there. It just made them think about me the whole time. You know, whatever you do, make it work in your favor. Make it work towards your desire. Make it align with your desire being true now. So if it helps you to create a story about the circumstance, do it. If you don't want to go through that effort, just decide what's true instead. Just affirm your new story, no matter what you see or don't see. You know, you don't take no for an answer in your mind. If that circumstance is seemingly showing you no, you're not getting what you want, you don't have what you want, in your mind, absolutely, that's ridiculous. I always get what I want. This is what's true instead. Maybe I doubted for a minute and I believed that that meant I wasn't getting what I want because I'm comfortable in that old story and that old thought pattern, but I'm changing that now. This is my new moment to create. I'm deciding something new and better is true instead. So really, circumstances are just kind of like ways for us to get feedback as to what stories we're telling ourselves. What are we still believing is true about our desires and our manifestations? So in every moment, it's great. It's really a great thing because we can we can see, oh, I still need to clean up that part of my story, or I'm not quite believing in my new story yet because that triggered me. Why did that trigger me? Okay, I'm going to affirm for the opposite then, because I know what part of my story is still lingering, my old unwanted story. You know, we get in thought patterns and it feels comfortable. And even if it's one we don't like, it can feel very uncomfortable and frustrating to try to change it. It can feel like work. But that is the work. It's getting out of that thought pattern. And the way you do that is through repetition and persistence. So you figure out what story you do want to be telling, you figure out what story you do want to be experiencing, and you affirm from that perspective, from the perspective that that story is what's true now. Because, you know, your unwanted story is no more true than your wanted story. You just believe in your unwanted story more. That's it. You're putting more eggs in that basket. You are identifying more with that story. You're believing more in that story because you're using your circumstances and your physical reality as your evidence instead of going within and creating your own evidence with your affirmations. Like, you know, there's probably been things in your life that you've manifested where you didn't have proof in the 3D that it was true. You didn't have proof in your physical reality that it was true, but you just knew it was true here, and then it showed up for you out there. The example I always like to go to is you're applying for a job and you know you rocked it. I mean, you had the best interview of your life. You got along great with the team. It's the perfect role for you. It's a perfect fit. You know it's awesome. You know you got that job before they email you and tell you, hey, you got the job, or before they call you and tell you their offer. You know you got that job. It's that knowing that produces your circumstantial evidence. So you really have to have the evidence up here first, the belief up here first, and then you get the evidence in your physical reality. So test it out, you know, do those little lists of mini manifestations and test it out. Watch yourself create other things consciously and build your confidence, because then you'll never worry about not being able to create something, because you know it's always been you. It's always been coming through you, through your assumptions and beliefs. So I challenge you to not give up when you see circumstances that seem opposite. And in fact, maybe don't get excited, but get motivated, get optimistic, because that's showing you a trigger, that's showing you a belief that you're still holding on to that doesn't match what you want. So it's your opportunity to change it. It's your opportunity to start believing in something better. Start deciding something better is true. Start deciding something wanted is true. Start spinning those circumstances to your advantage and watch how it will show up for you in the 3D. I mean, it can happen so quick. And I've seen so many examples, really awesome examples with clients. I just had one yesterday. They had this really important event they really needed to be at, and the tickets were completely sold out. And they were really stressed out and worried about it and deciding, oh my gosh, I waited too long. Now I can't go. What am I going to do? And we just kept talking about the new story. You know, just because the website says it's sold out doesn't mean you can't get a ticket. It doesn't mean that's true, number one. It doesn't mean that it is sold out. People make mistakes. Maybe they could have opened up more tickets. And it doesn't mean you have to accept that as true. If you don't want to go and you just want to accept that you are the victim of circumstance and you can't have what you want, then keep telling yourself that story. But they didn't. They persisted in a new story that was, I'm going to that show. I'm going to that show. I will be there. There are tickets left. It's not sold out. There's a ticket for me. 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 And they ended up, so the first communication they saw was it sold out. They emailed and it was still saying, they got a response saying it's still sold out. So there's your opposite circumstance. What story are you going to work on? What are you going to make that mean? How are you going to spin that to your advantage? So they kept working on their story. And then they ended up calling the people that were holding the event. And wouldn't you know it, they magically found a ticket for them. But it was only after they started deciding what was true. They did not take no for an answer. They did not take that circumstance at face value. They decided what was true instead. They decided they were already going to that event, and boom, they got their ticket. And now they're going to that event. So see how even if the exact opposite thing shows up for you, or nothing at all shows up for you, that's a circumstance too. If you're not seeing any movement, if you're not seeing any evidence, that's you recognizing you don't have what you want yet. That's you acknowledging your unwanted story. That's you still identifying with the unwanted story. So that's your opportunity as well. Don't take seemingly no movement and make it mean nothing's working. Don't take no movement, no communication, not seeing anything happening. Don't make that mean that you're not getting what you want. Don't make that mean that you're being rejected. Don't make that mean that it's too late. Don't make that mean that you can't have it, that you don't have it. Stick to your new story. Decide something better is true about it. If you need to make up a story for what is happening behind the scenes that you can't see, do it. If that helps you to argue with yourself for why what you want is true, do it. Otherwise, just go straight to your story and decide. Doesn't matter what I see or don't see out here. I know what's true up here. That's all that matters, because that's what makes everything out here show up. I'm going to stick to my story up here. So stick to your story. No matter what. No matter what. Okay? There's been so many times in my own journey where something has shown up exactly opposite of what I wanted, and I could have given up. I could have just said, well, I lose. I can't have what I want. It's not happening. Look, here's proof right here telling me no to my face. But I persisted in my story in spite of those circumstances, and I gave them new meaning when I needed to. And guess what? I got my manifestations. So opposite circumstances are really great in the respect that they help you get better at this conscious manifesting game. They help you perfect your skills. They help you build that muscle. They help you know how it feels to observe a circumstance objectively, to stay neutral, and then to shift into the story that you want about it, to shift the meaning about it, to shift your awareness about what you're accepting is true about it. So when opposite circumstances show up, practice not reacting and shifting your story. Okay? Shifting your story about what is true. Staying in that mental diet, staying with those affirmations, because if you will do that, that's the magic. That's when the magic happens. Your manifestations are just around the corner from you deciding something new about those seemingly opposite circumstances. And if you need help, that's why we're here. Coaching can be so helpful for stuff like that, because it's very easy to get stuck in our own patterns, and sometimes you can't see what you are assuming is true about something that's opposite of what you want. And so if you are seeing opposing circumstances, getting frustrated, noticing you're not having movement, or just having a hard time redirecting your mind from the seemingly opposite circumstances showing up, or seemingly negative circumstances that are showing up, I would love to meet you and help you and work with you, because you can do it. You can do it, and it can become your normal, natural way of thinking. This is a lifestyle, and we are already really, really good at it, but we've just been on autopilot our whole lives until we found out about law of assumption, right? So now you have the ability to be the director of your experience, to consciously decide what's true for you and have it show up for you. So be gentle with yourself and get help if you need help, because that's why we're all here. And I would love to help you and meet you, and work with you and help you get your manifestations. So I'm pretty sure that's it for this video. If you guys have questions or comments, please put them in the comment section of this video. And also, if you have video suggestions of things you'd like to hear about, we love knowing about that, and I want to give you what you want to know. So put that in the comments as well. I intend this video helped you. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And I will see you in the next one.